You know, somehow there's gonna be a path to purpose for somebody like me. Put my wall back up. Oop. It's left up. This is from the Cape. This little pine cone. It reminds me of Cape Cod. Hello. I have therapy in a little while. It's Wednesday, almost 12. So, what time is it? It is 10 minutes to 12. I think I have barely enough time to go make a sandwich, and I didn't put any makeup or shower yet because I was working very hard on some Daniel-related Department of Developmental Services paperwork. It took me 3 hours just getting things in order. Sometimes it's hard. It is hard to be a caregiver. Especially as life has progressed, and now see, my son is 23 and I'm 54, almost 55. And, you know, it's hard. You know, my other kids are college and Sarah's almost done with becoming a lawyer. At this point in my life, you would think we'd have more of a kind of a plan or a goal, but the plan and the goal is to keep Daniel happy and healthy. And you know, it's a big goal. When he was in school and we had resources that would work on, you know, a plan for his education, it intertwined with his happiness and his recreation and all the different things. You know, he had more access to socialization and more of a breadth of just things to hear about, see, and learn about, and talk about. He took a bus to school every day, right? But he's very medically fragile, so it always was a little bit complicated, and it still is to this day. I mean, his brain is deformed. Still is deformed. He still has seizures happening almost all the time, controlled by medication. He has very severe gastro reflux, so he's only G-tube fed because he would aspirate food right into his lungs, and it's too dangerous. Sometimes it's hard. It is hard to be a caregiver. Especially as life has progressed, and now see, my son is 23 and I'm 54, almost 55. And, you know, it's hard because, you know, my other kids are college and Sarah's almost done with becoming a lawyer. At this point in my life, you would think we'd have more of a kind of a plan or a goal, but the plan and the goal is to keep Daniel happy and healthy. And you know, it's a big goal. When he was in school and we had resources that would work on, you know, a plan for his education, it intertwined with his happiness and his recreation and all the different things. You know, he had more access to, you know, socialization and more of a breadth of just things to hear about, see, and learn about, and talk about. He took a bus to school every day, right? But he's very medically fragile, so it always was a little bit complicated, and it still is to this day. I mean, his brain is deformed. Still is deformed. He still has seizures happening almost all the time, controlled by medication. He has very severe gastro reflux, so he's only G-tube fed because he would aspirate food right into his lungs, and it's too dangerous. And he's, you know, completely incapable of any personal caregiving, so we have to help him. And helping him isn't just me, it's getting help. But right now he has Medicaid, and Medicaid pays for nursing care. But the problem with that is it doesn't reimburse very highly, and as a matter of fact, they keep dropping the reimbursement rate. So, you know, if I was a nurse, why in this world where there's so many nursing jobs would I want to take a step back? maybe working in a house is easier and less stressful for some people. So yeah, but it results in inconsistencies, inability to find weekend nurses, inability to find evening or overnight nurses. So yeah. And were I just able to just do that, I guess then I would just do that. Care for him when they're not. But I'm trying to launch a podcast that hasn't launched yet, but I'm trying to get it ready. And I'm trying to take care of my house. I'm trying to work on my marriage. I'm trying to take care of my animals. I'm trying to work on my YouTube channel and write and find vocations that may be just what I was looking for my whole life, right? Following the light that's guiding me to what is my purpose in this world. Because I don't believe that my purpose in this world is just to sit in these four walls. I think it's to try to use my experience and my insight, my intuition, and my me in some way for the betterment of others, or to share with others, or to help others. And it's always been me to be like that, because even when I graduated with my master's degree, I went into human resources. But the best part of being a human resource manager for me was the part where I was training, developing, creating things like succession plans, reevaluating job descriptions so that people felt that their jobs were satisfying, and all that kind of stuff. I loved being a human resource manager, but my favorite part was the helping people part and encouraging people and aligning people with the company goal so that everybody had a self-satisfaction and engagement. But I couldn't stay working as an HR manager because of all this here. Because in the corporate world, without help, you can't go and then say, oh, my nurse is not coming in today, I gotta go home. Or, I'm sorry, she's gotta leave at 5. I don't have anyone tomorrow. I don't have anyone they called this morning. You know, and that's what happens. And then you're just like, it's just not tolerated, because the traditional working world, even today, isn't really set up to deal with that. Even in the case of COVID, staying home, because if you're staying home to work at home, you're still working. If you can't be on your Zoom call, you can't be. Anyway, I'm just thinking about things today. Somehow being in my office inspires me. And anyway, and what, Julie? You always say and nothing. And nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna edit. You know, somehow there's gonna be a path to purpose for somebody like me. I re-engineered my entire life so that I could be here for my son. And it's been struggle financially, because I don't get paid for being me. Hard all day, dealing with the nursing coverage, the therapy, the equipment, the supplies, the medicines, dealing with the insurance company, things like appeals, like the guy today who came we're trying to get some new stuff for Daniel's bed and his lift thing is broken. So dealing with the equipment people, making appointments, wheelchair repairs, the van and transportation, dealing with the different agencies that support Daniel, right? The Department of Developmental Services, DDS. They used to be called DMR, and then the R word went away. Dealing with social services and Social Security. So there's all the Daniel stuff, which takes up 2 file cabinet drawers. Lots of things. And God only knows what else on my computer. But then there's the house management, right? The oil bill, the electric bill, the phone bill, all the bills, right? The mortgage, insurance, car payment, auto insurance, all that stuff, right? Credit cards, and then dealing with our insurance and dental bills and things like that. And dealing with house maintenance, like calling the electrician when the electric thing went down, like downstairs broke. Dealing with the septic stuff, dealing with the oil bills, repairs to the furnace. $900 I just paid to repair. I need a new furnace eventually, but you know what I mean? Like, it's, hey, this broke. You need to call a guy, right? We had the bats removed from our attic this year in May, early April through early May. They had to put these special bat things on. I had to call the guy, There's always a guy to call, right? It's the cars. The cars need oil changes and tires and tire rotations and what sets and new brakes and things like that. You know, it needs a new van, so start doing the research. You know, we're trying to go to Sarah's graduation in August. I do all that. So it's basically like I'm a home manager slash caregiver slash insurance agent or insurance claims rep, appeal person slash Julie, you know, blogging and doing Instagram and the Etsy shop, which is a personal favorite. That just reminded me, which is Daniel and I at our finest. I help him do artwork and we sell the prints between like $7 to $10. It's a little bit of my sister's artwork on there too. So that has to be managed, and that's fun, but I don't manage it enough. There's like all these things that could bring in incredible self-satisfaction, a gift to the world, a purpose, something that I can do and grow that would then maybe bring some income into my house. So I wouldn't feel like all I do is work, and not provide income. It's very hard for me because I am a very independent woman, and even when I was raising my children, I always said I don't want to be dependent on any man for income. So I had a full-time job, and then I got my master's degree, and then I got a better full-time job. I've had a lot of jobs, lots of jobs. I had to leave that. And the inconsistency of care for my son, because of having to rely on state benefits, just makes it impossible for me to get out of this conundrum. So that's what I work on, is how to really focus on me, right? All of the me, that is me. All of the time I spent editing and all of the things I do with my camera. I like that. I enjoy it, and I'm pretty happy about 8,000 something subscribers. You guys are amazing. Every time I look at it, I'm like, this is the best feeling. I am so happy when I am looking at YouTube and knowing that there's somebody out there who is tuning in just to kind of see how things are going here and see how Daniel is and see how we're doing. And I just appreciate that. So, okay, I have to go downstairs now and check on my groceries because Instacart is delivering them soon. They said by 5. It's now 8 minutes to 5. So I just wanted to talk to you guys for a few minutes. I hope that's okay, because it is okay for me. It helps my process when I can express myself to you. Something good, the best thing that happened to you today. How about that? That's today's homework for you. If you see this video, it doesn't matter where you are in the day, but what is the best thing so far today that has happened to you? We used to do that all the time when the kids were little. We'd sit around the dinner table and we would say grace, and then we'd have dinner, and then we'd say, okay, and we'd go, hey, John, what's the best thing that happened to you today? And he would say, blah, blah, blah. And we'd say, okay, Thomas, you know, especially after they've been in school all day, what's the best thing that happened to you today? And it really opened up a lot of communication. So fun. What's the best thing that's happened to you today? Me, the best thing that's happened to me today so far is coming upstairs, closing the door, putting my camera on the tripod, and opening up my heart. This is the best part of my day. Because I had therapy earlier today, and I was crying a lot. It was like dealing with the heavy stuff, you know, where you're like, oh, it's just so hard, it makes me so sad, you know. And I was like, I'm gonna choose not to dwell in that place anymore. And I feel so good now. I don't know. There are things that we can do to choose a different course for our mood. There are things that we can do to choose a different perspective. Doesn't always work, but most of the time it does. If you could just choose more of what you're grateful for, because that's what's happening here. Is I was like, well, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for painting with Daniel, talking to YouTube, and as soon as I get my wits about me, I got recording all my podcast episodes on my beautiful, I've got a beautiful speaker and, you know, headphones. I got all this stuff, acoustic panels and doo da da da. I almost have a logo. I just need to find what music sounds good and go boom. Introduction to the Adapted Life by Julie Hasselberger. Hello. I'm speaking it into existence. It is how I am getting over my imposter syndrome. Okay. Love you guys. We'll talk soon. Maybe even today. But that's not it. Gotta feel it with my finger. Here it is. Ah, they are here. Okay, right to the door. Hey John, can you help me with some groceries? Don't need to balk.